this time we direct your attention to the field as we honor tonight's military family of the game. Air Force Chief Master Sergeant John Bickle began his career in 1986 when he joined the 139th Airborne Wing. His 29 years of service having included participation in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Working Freedom, and Enduring Freedom. He just returned home earlier this month on his 6th tour of duty as part of our Air Force Reserve. Please join us for AKC and Heroes Day in thanking Chief Master Bickle and all who served with dedication and sacrifice for our freedom. And now to our America and the men and women defending our freedom. Please remain standing for our national anthem, sung this evening by Max Snow.
Hello and welcome to Sporting Park, the site of tonight's 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal matchup between Sporting Kansas City and the visitors, the Houston Dynamo. This is Nate Bucati along with Andy Greenebaum. This has been a great rivalry over the years, Andy, in MLS play, but this will be the first time in U.S. Open Cup play that these two teams have faced off, and we should have a good one here tonight.
Yeah, we should have a good one, and no doubt in my mind that it'll come down to the same thing it always comes down to between these two teams, set pieces. That's what I'm looking for tonight. Who's going to have the best of the assignments from both sides?
All right, let's take a look at the starting 11. First off, for Peter Vermees and Sporting Kansas City, this is their traditional 4-3-3 and mostly first-choice selections. Chance Myers back in there at right back. The same three midfielders, Espinoza, Feilhaber, and Mustavar, that we're used to seeing. Connor Hallisey starting out left with Dom Dwyer and Christian Nemeth also up top.
Yeah, a very familiar lineup. Obviously, a couple new changes coming in from the last MLS game, but that's what happens when you have so many games in such a short amount of time. You have to mix up the legs, fresh legs.
And now for the Houston Dynamo, Owen Coyle was only able to bring 17 players here. Players out with international duty, players injured, and then too many international spots to fill a full 18 for this U.S. Open Cup competition. Joe Willis will start in goal. Across the back line, Hunter, Cochran, Horst, and Sarkoti. Garrido and Sturgis, the holding midfielders. Davis, Clark, and Miranda are the attacking midfielders, and Will Bruin will be alone up top.
Yeah, and I'm most looking forward to seeing Eric Cubo Torres possibly. Just the fact that he's here on the bench brings a lot of excitement for this game.
Cubo Torres, who of course was acquired in the offseason for the Dynamo, but then loaned to Chivas de Guadalajara, who, now that the transfer window is here, made it to the team earlier this week, and this could be his Houston Dynamo debut at some point here tonight.
Yeah, you have to figure if he's here and they're down a goal, they're going to bring him on.
This was the site of some goal-scoring magic here a couple of weeks ago when Sporting Kansas City notched a 6-2 victory over FC Dallas. 4 goals from Dom Dwyer and 2 goals from Christian Nemeth. Dom Dwyer with the first ever hat trick here at Sporting Park, and it came all in the first half, and then he added a 4th in the second half. So can Sporting Kansas City take down another Texas foe in the U.S. Open Cup here today and punch their ticket to the semifinals? We are 90 minutes away from finding out. Houston Dynamo dressed in their traditional orange uniforms, tops, shorts, and socks, and Sporting Kansas City in their third kit. They're all whites with the metallic silver. And we are underway, the quarterfinals of the 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Dynamo will be attacking the south stand here in the first half, and Christian Nemeth quickly with an interception springing down the left side. Cutting back now and has it knocked away. The clearance makes it only as far as Chance Myers.
You know, Nate, already we are seeing some direct play from Houston, looking for Will Bruin to hold the ball up top or possibly flick something on.
Matt Beasler, the captain for Sporting Kansas City, brings it down. Looking for Nemeth. He was under pressure from Sarkoty, who knocked it away, and now it's Garrido. Kevin Ellis. Header won by Cochran. It's out for a Sporting Kansas City throw-in. And the Sporting Kansas City team, a hard-fought 2-1 victory in MLS play against Montreal just on Saturday. Now Dom Dwyer is fouled, and this will give Sporting Kansas City one of those set pieces, Andy, that you said would be key in this match.
Yeah, it seems that in this matchup it always comes down to set pieces, so a key opportunity here early for Sporting Kansas City.
What a crazy game it was between Sporting Kansas City and the Houston Dynamo back on April 25th down in Houston. That was a regular season MLS match. 4-4 the final score. Will we have a scoreline like that here tonight? Here comes Feilhaber, and he rolls it to Hallisey. Hallisey can't quite catch up to it in time to whip the cross in. It was something they clearly worked on, but somehow the timing just a little bit wrong.
Yeah, and it was on. Obviously, Houston not up to the task to mark this 2v1 situation. It's 2v2, but the ball just a little bit heavy. I would have liked to seen Sporting Kansas City test Joe Willis, who hasn't really played this year. Make him have to make a decision early in this game. Maybe the nerves get to him. You never know.
Here's Espinoza. Hallisey has made 2 starts so far this season in MLS play, now making the start in the U.S. Open Cup. And his fellow rookie Amadou Dia, who has really made himself a fixture on this team, with the throw-in back to Beasler. Well, this was a wide open game, that game down in Houston. I don't expect the Dynamo maybe to play quite as aggressively here today now that they are the road team.
Well, and especially with the shorter bench as well. Not as many players. You have to look for them to maybe sit and play a little bit more direct as we've seen so far and look for something cheap possibly.
Now Dia getting forward. He whips a cross in, but it's right into the arms of Joe Willis, the goalkeeper. But already we've seen the fullbacks for Sporting Kansas City getting forward as they are wont to do. Ellis knocked it away. Ellis trying to track it down. And it is Kevin Ellis. Now Espinoza gave it away. And Miranda now looking for Bruin. Measuring up Beasler, he's got a cross if it gets there, but Dia is able to knock it out for a corner kick. The run was coming that time from Ricardo Clark, and Dia had to make it back in time to break it up.
Yeah, Dia did well, but I'd like to see him recognize that run earlier and stay with the runner. Maybe he could have been a little bit tighter. It wouldn't have been so close.
Coach Owen Coyle not looking very pleased after that exchange from the Houston Dynamo. And here is Brad Davis, man who possesses one of the more dangerous left feet in all of MLS. And Davis takes it short. Now it's back to Davis. He'll whip it in this time, looking for the far post. It's headed back across and deflects off of Mustavar and out for another corner.
And Nate, with Sporting Kansas City only bringing Amadou Dia out to mark the short corner, it's a 2v1 situation, something that Houston will gladly take advantage of. But maybe Sporting doing that to entice maybe Brad Davis to not serve the ball into the box.
Davis again, this time the outswinger. Deflected off of Dia, out to the 18, and it's chipped in by Miranda, but out for a Sporting Kansas City goal kick. Espinoza flicks it forward, but out for a Houston throw. Ted Uncle is our referee tonight. Marching Sarkodie back a little bit before taking the throw. And Dia and Mustavar got their signals crossed a little bit. It's out off of Dia. Owen Coyle taking this moment to have a quick word with Sarkodie before the throw-in. David Horst playing it forward, headed out by Beasler. Now cleared away by Beasler. Feilhaber looking for the run of Dom Dwyer. Can he outrun Horst? Horst had the angle this time and is able to play it back to Willis. Ricardo Clark just disrupted enough by Sony Mustavar.
Well, and that's the look we're going to see over and over again. Will Bruin, such a big target. He's always a handful to deal with on these long balls and set pieces. So far, Houston really picking him out. Very direct so far, looking for players to run off his flick, run off him holding the ball with his back to the goal as well.
Will Bruin, long known as the Dancing Bear, although he says he's putting that nickname to bed. He's got 8 goals in MLS play so far this season. They just got hip checked out of the way by Miranda that time, but Espinoza is able to get there. Namath fouled from behind by Sarkodie.
Yeah, Namath just taking it back of the head. Easy call there.
Sporting Kansas City looking to get forward. Ellis playing Chance Myers down the right-hand side. Touch a little heavy.
You know, Nate, it's a little concerning early on here for City. Just haven't been sharp in possession. We saw it last MLS game this past Saturday. Did not look good in possession as well, and so far the press is there. They're winning the ball off of Houston. They're winning the long balls. They're winning second balls, but nothing to speak of in possession or buildup.
Ellis wins the header, but he's whistled for the foul. And so orange jerseys making their way forward for the free kick from Brad Davis. And he's fighting off the sun as he will take this free kick. There's one sliver where the sun is making its way through the stadium onto the field still, and it happens to be right where Brad Davis is standing to take this free kick. He whips it in, headed toward the area, and Dom Dwyer went to clear it, and it clanged off of Mustavar. Fortunately for Sporting Kansas City, the deflection carried it out of play, but it will be a Houston corner. That could have been a lot worse, though.
Yeah, well, anything inside their attacking half, doesn't matter where, it becomes a set piece, and it's all about second balls at that point. You know you're not going to win every first ball with the size that Houston possessed, but it becomes all about winning the second ball.
Third corner already for the visitors. In the 11th minute, Davis whips it in, headed away by Espinoza. Miranda. Flicked on by Davis, but Beasler has it covered. But still, as you've said, Andy, so far it's been Houston, the team, looking to have the more initiative in the early going.
Well, I wouldn't call it as much initiative as just big bodies, direct play, and sustained pressure, whether it be from a poor clearance from Sporting Kansas City or just using the big target forwards in Will Bruin.
That attempted cross deflects off of Dia, and another Houston Dynamo corner.
I mean, this is clearly the game plan working for Houston, though. They want very direct play, leading to set pieces like we're seeing. This is another corner kick from this side, in swinging, looking to put it right on top of Tim Melia, with Will Bruin standing right in front of him. Make Tim Melia have to make a decision.
Amadou Diaz being marched back as he's trying to keep a close eye on Lionel Miranda. And it's played to Miranda. He runs his way around Diaz. The cross, boy, it almost found a target right inside of the 6, but somehow deflects out for Sporting Kansas City. I think that was Ricardo Clark who had an opportunity to get on the end of it. Now Clark is signal for offside.
Well, once again, Sporting only bringing Amadou Dia out to that to defend a two-man corner, and this time brought in on the right foot instead of allowing Brad Davis to serve it in with his left.
And I think that ball first initially deflected off of Beasler, then off of Benny Feilhaber. Clark tries to keep it in. As far as Ellis, he wanted to play Mustavar, now he does. Can Sporting Kansas City get back on the front foot? 14th minute, 0-0 the score. Beasler was looking for the long diagonal ball for Chance Myers, and he had space, but it deflects right off of Ricardo Clark.
And in some ways, Nate, you can expect this sort of sluggish play, direct play from both teams coming off league games. A lot of games in a lot of days. A lot of players playing multiple games in a row.
Well, Sporting Kansas City in their first 2 U.S. Open Cup matches had the luxury of having a bit of a gap in the MLS schedule right around those games, so they could feel the first team side and not really worry about the repercussions They're fielding mostly a first-team side here today, or first-choice side here today, but they're doing it, as you said, just days after a tough, hard-fought game in a humid environment here against Montreal, and knowing that they have to go on Friday and play another rivalry game against RSL.
Very short turnaround for the RSL game. A rivalry in which every player knows the meaning of. As we see what should have probably been a foul, but advantage called here.
Still down, by the way. We'll keep an eye on that. Now Dom Dwyer tries to get it out to Hallisey, but it was intercepted by Taylor Hunter. Beasler's back to his feet now. Took a pretty good knock from Ricardo Clark. Is now Houston getting forward. Ellis steps in to knock it away. Then Mustafar with the sliding challenge. But still Houston coming away with it. And a foul on Chance Myers.
I was waiting to see if Ted Unkel was going to go to the book there. It was a hard challenge on Matt Beasler. Almost warranted a yellow card in my opinion.
Nathan Sturgis ran into Chance Myers there, so one of those set pieces for the Dynamo coming up. Ricardo Clark was a little late coming in on that, to go back to your point, Andy, and in the end we get nothing from it.
Well, and this is a clear foul, as well as Chance sands him up at the blue line, and now look for Brad Davis to whip this in behind that line for Sporting Kansas City. With Espinoza holding that line, he'll drop off as the ball struck.
Elia comes for it, he swings, he misses, but it's headed over the crossbar. I believe it was David Horst who got ahead to it.
And I think it might be an offside call, but this ball lofted in, just letting the big bodies go up. Tim Melia having to deal with that traffic. It's a handful. It's tough for a goalkeeper to come out, but when you do, you have to make sure that you get to that ball.
17th minute now. Kansas City have yet to register a shot. Houston squeezed off 2 shots so far. Neither have found the target. We talked about how humid the conditions were here on Saturday night for the Sporting Kansas City Montreal Impact game. It has to be said, for late July here in Kansas City, tonight is not so bad.
No, it's a perfect night. And I'm sure both teams very thankful for that fact, having to turn around and play league games.
Hallisey and Namath have switched sides, and Namath is fouled as he was trying to post up on Brad Davis. Too many bodies to squeeze it through that time for Dom Dwyer. Well, as much as both of these teams have MLS regular season matches sandwiched around these games to deal with, when you get to this point in the competition, the quarterfinals, you're close enough to feel like you really need to go for it, especially in this competition.
Oh, especially in this competition. There's so much at stake in the U.S. Open Cup. You just have to get to this stage.
Myers trying for the cross. Deflects out for a throw-in, but that's better from Sporting Kansas City.
It's better because the ball's moving quicker. I think that's the problem, is Namath is showing up in these dangerous pockets, and Sporting Kansas City very slow to recognize his run into the midfield where he can turn and run at defenders. But that time letting the ball do the work, getting it back out wide, and Chance Myers just has his cross deflected out.
Evan Willis has to be, Joe Willis, that is, has to be on his toes here as Matt Beasler will come forward for the throw-in. Fired this right onto the 6. He does so, and Willis comes out to claim it.
Joe Willis with a great read. That ball lofted up. He comes all the way out to the penalty spot to claim that. That's rare to see from a long throw, but the ball just lofted enough. He feels like he has a clear path. It's a good, confident take by Joe Willis.
Foul be whistled on Roger Espinoza for the follow-through on Ricardo Clark. Espinoza felt that he had been kicked in the leg. He did not think the foul should have gone against him.
And let's see if Houston will set this up or if they'll play quickly. They look to be setting everything up inside the half. This looks to be no different.
The 20th minute now. Yet another set piece for the Dynamo. Davis with the left foot again. Headed by Horst across. He was looking to get it on to Nathan Sturgis. But for Sporting Kansas City, they survive another one of these set pieces.
And it's another offside call. Seems like Houston runners a little anxious to get in the box, get in behind that Sporting Kansas City line. That's twice now.
Gustavar, dangerous, and Ricardo Clark.
And now you see Tim Melia pushing everybody up. No reason to take any more chances at this point. Stretch the defense, win a second ball, maybe play out of the back another time.
Horst wins the header. It's out for Sporting Kansas City throw-in.
It's just too slow, Nate. They've got to move the ball quicker out of the back especially.
Taken away again by the visitors. He dumps it in. It's over the head of Horst, but nobody there for Sporting Kansas City. When you talk about things needing to be quicker for Sporting, we touched on it a little bit, but how much is that just the lethargic nature of, playing a tough game just a couple of days ago?
I think that has a lot to do with it. It's just a little concerning that a couple days ago as well when they played, the sharpness wasn't there. The movement off the ball was in the same line as another teammate. It was very easy to defend, and they look to be the same tonight. And you just hope that you get it right on the road as well. You take care of business tonight, but on the road in Salt Lake, you have to make sure that you get it right as well.
Amadou Dia deals with the run from Sarkodie and clears it out for a throw. Christian Nemeth had hoped for a foul call there. Ted Uncle was unimpressed. It's across from Sarkodie, headed away by Mustavar and then Espinoza. Sarkodie again. Now Espinoza. So far, it seems that a large percentage of this match has taken place right in this quadrant of the field.
And you can sense Houston knows that they have some sort of an advantage right now with all the set pieces that they're creating. And it's really off of nothing. It's off of poor clearances, bad deflections, and just really bad play from Sporting Kansas City thus far.
And if you're Sporting Kansas City, you have to feel that you're playing with fire a little bit here, dealing with this many set pieces from a team we talked about. Davis sends it in again. Really just barely got a glove to that. Allison trying to bring it down.
And it's not like Houston is beating you with talent. It's just they're sending everything in. They're making it difficult on set pieces. They're using their size, so they're playing right into their game plan.
Beasler with the step, gets it to Dwyer. Now can Sporting Kansas City spring forward. Nemeth. Feilhaber. Ricardo Clark tracking back, takes it right away. Feilhaber stays with it though to deflect the pass that was intended for Bruin. Now Ellis with a bicycle to get it away. Mustavar taken down, and a foul on Ricardo Clark.
You can see Mustavar just splitting two Houston players, but Houston doing a very good job of swarming the ball, creating turnovers themselves. Sporting guilty of turning the ball over themselves, just with bad decision making, taking too much time on the ball. You can see they're all out of sorts right now.
And even taking too much time on a set piece. That causes them to play it all the way back to their keeper, now Feilhaber.
You notice it's Benny Feilhaber now dropping off to get that ball instead of Mustavar.
There's Beasler. Now Namath. Gets it out to Dia. Yeah, trying to run at Sarkodie. Doesn't quite come off. Roger Espinoza. It's all Chance Myers can do to keep it in, but it's a giveaway by Sporting. Espinoza with an important tackle. Now the rookie Hallisey gets it forward to Feilhaber. Tries to chip it on to Dwyer. It's headed away nicely by A.J. Cochran that time. Beasler and Ricardo Clark tangled up, and Mustavar takes it away. And now Davis. Cutting back inside. The overlap to Sarkodie. Almost didn't quite get that clearance right. And it's Davis. Low cross sent right in front of the area of the goal mouth, and Ricardo Clark sprawled out on the goal line, was about a step away from putting the visitors on top.
Yeah, Sporting Kansas City very lucky, very fortunate not to be down by one after this. Low cross across the frame. And it's just a bad clearance by Kevin Ellis after turning the ball over earlier. Little mistakes like that are costly.
27th minute at Sporting Park, quarterfinals of the 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and so far, the visitors, the Houston Dynamo, have been the more dangerous side. Namath trying to hold off Sarkodie. This time he'll get the whistle and the foul.
And Namath so good with his back to goal. We've seen it numerous times this year, and players are recognizing that. Defensive players are recognizing that and playing a little bit overly physical there.
Christian Namath, 2 goals against FC Dallas. We're looking to get on the end of this cross from Benny Feilhaber.
And I'm looking at Dom Dwyer and Ricardo Clark, very physical before the ball is even kicked. Players shoving each other. This is quite a battle.
Ricardo Clark is just all over Dom Dwyer, just shoving him out of the 18.
I think that was right in front of the referee and clearly could be a yellow card.
Somehow the referee's coming over to have a talking to with Dom Dwyer out of all this.
And sometimes it's the second one. He sees Dom Dwyer give it back to him, but for me, Ricardo Clark, he's a physical player, but something to watch for here.
Feilhaber sends it in, right into the arms of Joe Willis.
Joe Willis, such a big goalkeeper, standing 6'4" or 5. Easy pickings for him. Great path to the ball. Good, confident take.
Listed at 6'5", 200.
I like the fact that he's going up and catching the ball, even in traffic, confident with his hands.
Hallisey. Touch lets him down. Chance Myers pressing forward and almost had the takeaway. Touch last by Kevin Ellis. Mustavar steps in. Hallacy works his way through a trio of defenders to Espinoza. Espinoza looking to switch. Dynamo keeping up the pressure. Feilhaber taken down from behind, nothing called by Uncle. Then Dia taken down on the follow through by Garrido.
This could be a straight red here.
Referee reaching into his pocket, and it is a red card. The dynamics of this match have just done a complete 180, as Luis Garrido might have gotten away with the first one on Feilhaber, but came in with the studs up on Amadou Dia, and it's a straight red for the Houston Dynamo midfielder in the 30th minute.
Well, Nate, just because Houston goes down a man, it's really on Sporting Kansas City and their mentality moving forward. How many times do we see teams, especially when they're having success on the road, continue to stick to their game plan, pick and choose their opportunities? This will come down to Sporting Kansas City's mentality to take advantage of this one-man advantage.
Luis Garrido, what a mistake. Honduran international who was the Dynamo newcomer of the year just last year. And an absolutely rash challenge as we take another look at it.
Well, he goes in hard, follows the ball, and then we just see Benny Feilhaber take a look at a red.
And for the record, that was not the foul that drew the red card. In fact, that was not whistled for a foul at all, the play on Feilhaber. It was the challenge on Amadou Dia. What did you think of the red card? You predicted right when we saw it, you said this could be a red right here.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if it's one thing, if he goes through, gets the ball, his studs were showing, in my opinion, from my angle. It was right in front of us. Didn't get the cleanest look from a field level, but it looked to me that if that's a foul, then it's got to be a red in that case. Just how hard the challenge was with the studs showing.
We might not have another good look at it because it appears that all of the cameras were following the reaction to Feilhaber going down when he felt that he had been fouled by Garrido on the play. But a match that, I don't know if you, like you said, you wouldn't say that it was controlled by Houston, but Houston clearly the more dangerous team through the first half hour of this game, but now they're a man down for the final hour. But as you said, it's now incumbent upon Sporting Kansas City to make that advantage count.
Yeah, I really truly believe that, because a lot of times you have the mentality where, as we take a look at the reaction after the car, we still didn't get a clean look, but it really just comes down to Sporting Kansas City's mentality, because sometimes going down a man or going up a man, you can take your foot off the pedal, and to be honest, Sporting Kansas City haven't been playing that well to begin with. They can't afford to take their foot off the pedal anymore.
See if we can get another look at it here. This is our first angle.
Yeah, that to me looks to be a straight red. I mean, almost both feet coming through, exposing the studs. It's just reckless. And I get it, you know, he had used his body to fend off Benny Feilhaber, but at the same time.
Hallacy played through. It's out off of Davis for a Sporting Kansas City corner. Thinking about taking it quickly, but now Hallacy will play it back to Feilhaber. Back to Hallacy. Diaz pass poor that time, right to the foot of Sturgis.
And at some point, someone just has to put the ball in the box.
Mustavar did not realize.
We should be seeing our first yellow here for Mustavar.
Did not realize he was under pressure from Miranda.
This is probably the third or fourth time we've seen Mustavar get caught in possession.
Yellow for Mustavar comes in the 34th minute.
Mustavar just not realizing he needs to play quicker in that situation, get the ball off his feet. That's where all the numbers for Houston are.
Ronda keeps it in nicely. Puts the cross in. Feilhaber working his way through two defenders. And now we'll have a foul. This will be against Miranda. Dwyer couldn't bring it down. Espinoza with a nice cutback. Namath back to goal again, trying to turn. Taken down by Sarkody. No, it's a foul on Christian Namath.
I'm not sure. I think maybe he thought Namath had a hold on Sarkody here instead, as you see his arm just slightly behind. But for me, both guys tugging on each other, just a physical battle. I think maybe play on there.
You saw the referee signaling with his left arm that he felt that Namath
maybe hooked him around.
Hook, yeah. Beasler knocks it forward. Back in by Cochran. Sarkody to keep it in. Amadou Dia does well to shield Ricardo Clark off. Namath with a nice chest over to Dwyer. Now back to Namath down the left-hand side. He is onside. Christian Namath to Hallacy. Now back to Namath. Running into the area. Sarkody. Namath tries the chip, and it's off of an orange jersey and out for a Sporting Kansas City corner.
And it's much better from Sporting Kansas City. This time Dom Dwyer fending off a Houston defender very nicely to spring Namath. Takes a little bit to build up, but Namath creativity inside the box, just able to earn Sporting a corner.
37th minute. It's the first shot attempt by Sporting on the match. Feilhaber sends it in. Oh, right past the forehead of Roger Espinoza. It looked like he had some space to try to turn that on goal.
It's a good teasing ball in. And you're right, Espinoza just didn't get his footing right. You could see he jumped up awkwardly, landed awkwardly as well. No momentum going into that header.
Sporting Kansas City have been up a man for 7 minutes now, after the straight red card shown to Luis Garrido. The studs up challenge on Amadou Dia. Ricardo Clark and Dom Dwyer tangled up. Now Bruin to Clark. Dwyer chops him down. Disagrees with it, but it appeared to be the right call from my vantage point, Andy.
Well, Dom Dwyer, it was close. He times his tackle, maybe just gets too much. And just gets around that left foot of Ricardo Clark. Does get to the ball, but goes through Ricardo Clark a little bit.
Namath, who wanted to find Dwyer, but Horst got there first. Mustavar. Now Amadou Dia. 0-0 the score at Sporting Park. Sporting up a man. Red card in the 30th minute. Comes Brad Davis. Bruin trying to chip forward for Ricardo Clark. Knocked away by Beasler.
When it's well done by Beasler, because there was another Houston player running through. Could have been dangerous for Sporting Kansas City, up a man, but in that situation, down in numbers.
Beasler gives it away to Sturgis, though, and has to clean up a bit of his own mess by knocking it out. Matt Beasler leading MLS in clearances per game so far this season. Hunter down the left-hand side. Rondo. Ellis clears it away. Dwyer trying to hold it up, gets it to Espinoza. He's got a streaking Connor Hallisey if he sees him. Brought it the other way instead. Now Amadou Dia to Namath and back to Espinoza. Now for Dwyer. Couldn't quite get there.
And Roger Espinoza just needs to look up and switch to the point of attack here. Benny Feilhaber screaming for the ball. Sporting Kansas City have all sorts of numbers on the other side, with Houston down a man, shifting to defend their right flank.
See if you can see what Roger Espinoza sees here.
Well, he did have Connor Hallisey streaking down the right side. He opts to take it down the left. He has numbers here, that's okay. But now when he receives the ball back, he needs to look up, find the other way.
'41st minute now. As you might expect, Dynamo starting to pack things in a bit now that they're down a man. Espinoza looking for the forward run of Chance Myers, but couldn't make the connection. Benny Feilhaber now, after coming up with a couple of assists in the last U.S. Open Cup game, leads all players in franchise history in assists during U.S. Open Cup play with 4. Remember, he's got 10 assists in MLS play so far this season. Second in MLS in that category. It's a career high for him in MLS. Now Feilhaber plays it to Chance Myers on the right side. Through to Hallisey. Space for a cross. Namath tracks it down. Half winding down. Sporting Kansas City up a man. The score line is level. 0-0. Dwyer. Feilhaber. Back to Dwyer. He sets it up with the left foot. Deflects off of Ricardo Clark. Sony Mustavar. Feilhaber looking for the run of Chance Myers, and Davis has to knock it out for a Sporting Kansas City corner.
This is very good defensive effort from Brad Davis to get back, read that run being made in. A good ball by Benny Feilhaber, just testing that right side with Chance Myers making the run, and it's Brad Davis being very responsible down that left flank.
Feilhaber gets it out to Mustavar. He sends it in looking for Beasler this time. Headed away by Horst. Not often that we see Beasler getting forward on these set pieces, but he was there. Footing gave out on Amadou Dia, and if you're watching this match, you can probably tell this pitch is fairly chewed up. The hot, humid summer here in Kansas City, always tough on the field, and of course a match just on Saturday. There's a concert here this coming weekend as well. Players certainly have to deal with that. Hunter clears it away. Kevin Ellis chests it down. Christian Namath was trying to hold off Cochran, who heads it out. We'll see how much stoppage time there will be. Only 1 minute. Sporting Kansas City strike here in the final 60 seconds before heading to the locker room. Feilhaber looking for Dia. Out for a Sporting Kansas City throw. Here's Espinoza. Feilhaber. This could be the last chance of the first half for Sporting Kansas City. Tried to pull it back to Hallacy. Tackle won that time by Sturgis. Mustavar prevents the counterattack. Hallacy forward again. It's Dia. He touches it around one defender. It's Dia trying to play it through the box. Tackled away nicely by Cochran. And before Sporting Kansas City can take the corner, the final whistle for the first half blows.
Gotta love that, huh?
Peter Vermees, as you might imagine, not thrilled with that. Felt Sporting should have at least been able to take the corner before the halftime whistle blew.
Yeah, I agree as well. We've seen that a couple times, though, happen against Sporting Kansas City.
0-0 at the end of the first half, but Sporting Kansas City with a man advantage since the 30th minute after a straight red card was shown to Luis Garrido. So Houston Dynamo playing down a man the rest of the way. We'll be back for the second half from Sporting Park, the 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup quarterfinals. Sporting Kansas City 0, Houston Dynamo 0.
Supporting Kansas City is a proud supporter of beer. In collaboration with Lamar Brewing Company, we're releasing a new line of t-shirts, scarves, and many other items to come. T-shirts and scarves are available for purchase at sporting style locations now.
Just for the years, we've never had to do this. That is terrible. God, Ed, Alex, good, Alex, Alex, good actor, monster bucks.
just about for the second half at Sporting Park. Sporting Kansas City and the Houston Dynamo in the quarterfinals of the 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. 0-0 is the score. Houston Dynamo down to 10 men after a straight red card shown to Luis Garrido in the 30th minute. But Andy, Sporting Kansas City had 15 minutes to try to take advantage of that in the first half and couldn't do so.
Yeah, and credit to Houston. They came in with a game plan, and now that they've gone down a man, they're staying very compact, tough to break down, sticking to their game plan with direct play, winning set pieces off the back of Will Bruin and the likes, just serving a lot of balls into the box, making it very difficult for Sporting.
Away we go in the second half. Ricardo Clark. And it's Sony Mustavar this time. Nobody on the backside for that cross. As the sun is setting at Sporting Park. Setting on one of these teams for their run in the U.S. Open Cup. Kansas City to take advantage of the man advantage. Benny Feilhaber looking for someone to show. They'll try the right-hand side. Espinoza cannot quite get there, and it's out for a Houston throw-in. Just a couple of minutes in here, Andy, but does it appear that Sporting Kansas City have kind of come out just as disjointed as they looked at times in the first half?
Well, I think, you know, the attempt there to play is there. It's not as direct. At least the idea is there somewhat. And you can see the frustration on Benny Feilhaber's face. Just wants to calm things down, wants the movement to be there, wants Sporting Kansas City to be a little bit more patient with the ball.
Feilhaber. Now Namath. Espinoza looking for the run of Amadou Dia, but Joe Willis able to come off his line and gather.
But that's a good idea there. Good run by Amadou Dia. Slashing in behind, in between the right back and center back. And it's a good ball, just a little bit too much weight from Espinoza, but recognizing the run, and it's decent timing.
Beasley finds Namath. Back to Beasley. Connor Hallisey almost gave it away to Davis, but Mustavar comes over to clean it up. Here comes Benny Feilhaber to Espinoza. Back to Feilhaber. And through to Chance Myers. He'll send it back in. Oh, Feilhaber took it away from Namath. I don't think he realized Namath was right behind him, ready to set himself up for a shot there. And it's out for a Sporting Kansas City throw-in in the end.
But it's the first time we've seen Benny Feilhaber get the ball with space and actually drive at defenders looking to create. And that's why it works. The movement's there. Good ball in behind for Chance Myers.
And I don't think that Feilhaber was being selfish there at all. I just don't think he realized that Namath was approaching right behind him. Here's Hallisey. Would you have faulted him if he had an effort right there with the left foot?
I would not have. I would have liked to see him have a shot. Sporting Kansas City struggling to get anything on frame. Why not test Joe Willis? Joe Willis has been solid in the air, but has yet to be tested with a shot.
Only 2 shots attempted by each team so far, and none on goal.
And I think that's a testament to the lack of confidence right now from how this game has played out. Connor Hallisey just doesn't want to pull the trigger. He's given space. He could have easily done so, but opted out.
If you remember back to that 4-4 game on April 25th between these two teams, there were 8 goals in that game and 8 shots on goal. Here comes a cross from Espinoza. It bounces to Myers. Myers tries to have a shot as he cut it back. It was deflected at the last moment nicely by Hunter. Now Hallisey. Slide it through to Dwyer again. Hallisey being a little unselfish. Might have had another opportunity. But as I was saying, in that game on the 25th, 4 goals for each team, 4 shots on goal. Neither keeper made a save in that game.
It was a rare game. You're not going to see too many of those throughout the rest of maybe the history of the game. I mean, obviously, that's a bit of a bold statement, but the fact is, it just goes to show you have to be able to pull the trigger to have anything happen.
That was the 2nd highest scoring game in general in Sporting Kansas City franchise history. Espinoza's got to get on his horse to try to keep this one, and he does so. Second minute, Sporting Kansas City playing with a man advantage. But 0-0 is the score. Now Espinoza getting forward. Over to Chance Myers. He knocks it around Hunter. Tried to get it into Dwyer. It rolls on the far side to Feilhaber. Feilhaber cutting his way back. Now to Hallisey. Hallisey with a cross. Is it kept in by Willis? No. The near side referee's assistant, Claudio Badea, says that was across the end line. So it'll be a Sporting Kansas City corner as the 52nd minute comes to a close.
Joe Willis furious. He feels like he was able to keep this ball in. As we take another look, Connor Hallisey just clips it in. Joe Willis comes for it and feels like he has it. Just his feet are out of bounds, but that doesn't mean the whole ball crosses the line. He feels like he may have saved that.
How can Sporting Kansas City capitalize? In swinger from Feilhaber, headed across by Espinoza and away by Clark. Hallisey down the left-hand side. Espinoza to the 18. Espinoza! He pulls the trigger and it bangs off the side of the net. There was a roar of applause briefly from the Sporting Kansas City fans who saw the net moving and thought maybe he had found the inside of the back of the net, but it was just on the wrong side. Espinoza with a decent effort with the left foot.
It was a decent effort. You can't fault him for pulling the trigger. That's more like it, more direct there with more assertive. But for me, make Joe Willis make a save. Low to his left. A rebound could pop out to that far post. From that angle, you got to be pretty accurate with a lot of pace to beat Joe Willis to the near.
Espinoza called for the foul. We're going to have a substitution for Sporting Kansas City as Jacob Peterson will check in for the rookie Connor Hallisey. It's never felt like Hallisey got into the rhythm in this game.
I agree, and much like many more Sporting Kansas City players tonight, just haven't had that sharpness, that rhythm, and it could be because of the amount of games and the humidity on Saturday.
But of course, Hallisey is one of those players who has not been overworked to this point in the season. He's made 8 appearances and 2 starts before today. Maybe it's just a case where Peter Vermees doesn't want to wait any longer.
Well, and he's a young player, still really getting into the groove of Major League Soccer in this competition as well. I just think need to play a little bit more simple tonight, especially when things aren't going your way.
If you want an injection of energy, Jacob Peterson is a good place to start. Set piece from Houston, cleared away by Espinoza, but it was offside on Houston in the first place.
And now you can see a little bit more urgency for Sporting Kansas City to play a little bit quicker. Just get the ball in play, let the ball do the work, get players moving, make Houston come out of their shell a little bit. The only way to do that is with movement.
Feilhaber. Chance Myers. Christian Namath. Now Feilhaber again. Away by David Horst. Immediately Sporting Kansas City right back with it on the halfway line. Will Bruin, nice pressure that time, but Ellis stays with it. Espinoza clipped from behind. Ricardo Clark got the left leg of Espinoza, who goes down. And we're going to see a yellow card on Ricardo Clark here in the 56th minute.
We've seen Ricardo Clark with some very physical play. This time warning, a yellow card as he comes across the back of Roger Espinoza's leg. So we take a look. Roger does the right thing by cutting off Ricardo Clark, going across him, but pays the price.
Feilhaber. Out of Namath. Runs into Horst.
That's great body position there from Horst, recognizing the cut by Namath to go back outside down the line and putting his body in the way of the ball. And Namath, great play there by Horst.
Well, Sporting Kansas City over the last 5 minutes or so, Andy, have really been keeping Houston under pressure and keeping the ball in the attacking third,
and it's all stemming from Benny Feilhaber dropping deeper into spaces where he can distribute the ball. He's much more clean on the ball than Mustavar, especially tonight, but throughout the season, and he's dropping into those spaces, getting the ball and pulling strings for this team.
Bruin trying to flick it forward for Ricardo Clark. Beasler tried to play that back to Tim Melia. And not happy with himself after that, as it will give Houston a set piece here. And this seems, Andy, about, not sure if Matt's touch just let him down there, or if maybe he thought he saw Amelia a little closer there than he was. But either way, this seems about like the only way that Houston's going to come up with a goal in this game. Down a man with a set piece like this. So you don't want to give these away.
No, it's a cheap corner kick given Matt Beasler. Obviously, that just captures the sharpness of most Sporting players tonight. It just hasn't been clean. The field may contribute to that a little bit, but another dangerous set piece here.
It's Brad Davis driving in the in-swinger, and it's headed toward the goal, cleared off the line by Espinoza, then banged into the back of the net, and it's Will Bruin for the Houston Dynamo. Against the run of play and down a man. Will Bruin has put Houston Dynamo on top in the 59th minute.
And it's just like we talked about, Nate. What a terrible way to go down. Up a man. We know how dangerous Houston are on set pieces. A service from Brad Davis, and then it's just the feistiness of Will Bruin in the box to be first to this ball, this knockdown. But you're asking for it if you give up this many set pieces to Brad Davis, especially. A team like Houston with their size is going to cause all sorts of problems. Credit Houston for sticking to this game plan.
Sporting Kansas City have over a half an hour to try to pull one back here, but their U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal lives are in the balance now as they are down a goal but up a man. In the 60th minute. Feilhaber getting forward once again. Cross is deflected. Cleared away by Davis. Well, if you thought the Dynamo were bunkered in before, wait till you see the next 30 minutes. That goal for Will Bruin was the 50th career goal in all competitions for the St. Louis native. Here comes a cross. Dwyer's able to head it back to Espinoza. To Chance Myers, trying to touch it around Davis, and he's drawn the penalty. Ted Unkel has pointed to the spot. And just over a minute after Sporting Kansas City have fallen down by a goal, they have an opportunity to level the match with a penalty.
And Nate, look who's stepping up right away to take this. It's Dom Dwyer.
Dom Dwyer has scored 4 goals in U.S. Open Cup competition. They all 4 came against FC Dallas in the last round. With his next goal, he will put himself in a tie for the lead in franchise history. Will it come here? Dwyer, and it's punched away by Willis. A diving save by Willis. Now, what do we have?
It's a bit
Ted
of
Unkel, I
confusion.
guess, might be signaling against one of the Sporting players, possibly for stepping into the area too soon. I'm not really sure what the whistle is there, but what a save it is from Joe Willis, who guesses to the right side.
Well, it's a poorly taken penalty from Dom Dwyer. It's right into the body of Joe Willis, who goes the right way. Credit Joe Willis for sticking to his guts and going to his right to make the save, but Dom Dwyer just not showing the same confidence we're used to seeing, especially from the spot. Now, he has struggled, and we've seen Benny Feilhaber start to take him.
Deflected off of Jacob Peterson. Dwyer was trying to get himself back on side. Sporting Kansas City still with work to do here. Down a goal. Looked like they had the opportunity to equalize with a penalty, but Joe Willis stood up, made the save. And it is still a 1-0 advantage for the Dynamo, who are down a man. We're going to have a couple of substitutions now for this Houston side. And this will be the Houston Dynamo debut for Eric Cubo Torres, a 22-year-old designated player, signed back on December 23rd, but after being loaned to Chivas de Guadalajara, now ready to make his first appearance for the Dynamo. He will replace Will Bruin. Will Bruin, the goal scorer, in the 59th minute. Against the odds, giving this Houston team the lead and a lifeline here. The other substitution, Zach Steinberger, coming into the match.
Yeah, Nate, for me, it's just, it can only mean one thing, that Houston wanted to get Cubo Torres into the match no matter what the circumstance was. Wanted him to see MLS action right away in an Open Cup match.
Now the pressure mounts on Sporting Kansas City as Kevin Ellis knocks it out. 65th minute, they're down a goal.
And in no hurry now. You can see the gamesmanship already starting to unfold here for Houston. They want to take as much time off the clock as possible, and rightfully so.
How the dynamics change so greatly on the results of a penalty taken or missed, or in this case saved by Joe Willis. And Sporting Kansas City convert that penalty. It's a 1-1 match. They're up a man and they're feeling good about things once again.
Yep, goals change games, Nate, and so do big time saves. A penalty missed. Hopefully Sporting Kansas City can find another opportunity to beat Joe Willis, who's been solid tonight.
Here's Beasler with some space to Dwyer. His touch lets him down. Beasler, though, keeps it in. Chance Myers. Now to Peterson. Now Dwyer. Trying to turn. Orange jerseys everywhere, and a foul will be called on Miranda. Away from the foul, Roger Espinoza and Ricardo Clark in a bit of a shoving match, and then it was David Horst who came over with a two-hand shove to Espinoza. This has been a rivalry for years, going back to 3 years out of 4 in which, or 3 years in a row it was, that these two teams faced off in the Eastern Conference playoffs at the time.
And it's definitely a foul. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about it, but Ricardo Clark just being a pest in the side of Sporting Kansas City, causing all sorts of problems off the ball, on the ball, just being his usual physical self, but he needs to be careful as well.
Trying to decide which ball to use now, and now Houston players are talking with Ted Uncle once again, as Espinoza still upset. Brad Davis getting in the referee's face.
He needs to
now
be restrained. That's clearly he's not liking what he's hearing from the referee.
Ted Uncle's going to finally have a talking to with Roger Espinoza. Will he see a card here? Ted Uncle trying to get control of this match. He's calling both Davis and Espinoza over. Beasler, the captain's going to listen in.
Ted Uncle just trying to get control over the game.
And do you think both players got the message? Because as soon as Uncle walked away and told them that was enough, Davis walked right over and stuck a finger in the chest of Espinoza. And now he's getting into it with Beasler.
And players need to be careful as well, because
now Davis going after Espinoza again. Davis is shown yellow. Espinoza is shown yellow. Not sure Espinoza did anything that time. I think Uncle's just gotten to the point where he's screaming Uncle on all this this verbiage from the two sides.
He's desperately trying to get a hold of the game. We've talked about the rivalry. Players relentless down. It's also a little gamesmanship as well, taking some time off the clock, but players are very angry. You can tell this rivalry is heating up. Always seems to be in big matches as well between these two teams.
It'll be interesting to see how much stoppage time is added at the end of this match because of this delay that's taken at least 2, if not 3 minutes. This will be from right at 20 yards out. Feilhaber puts it right into the wall. We're being told officially that that yellow card was not given to Roger Espinoza, but Matt Beasler. That's not the way I saw it on the field. I'd like to get that confirmation, because it appeared to me that Uncle showed the yellow card to Roger Espinoza. We'll see as Beasler sends the throw in. It's headed away. Dwyer takes it, make that Feilhaber, and it bangs off the post. Peterson trying to bring it down. Sporting Kansas City now starting to wonder what it will take to come up with the equalizer.
Well, it's better. Benny Feilhaber, a bit of quality there to put that on frame. That was not easy.
Feilhaber looking to get it to Namath. He's taken down, and Namath is called for the foul.
Well, you think Ted Unkel spotting something from Christian Namath in the first half called for something very similar. Doesn't like how he's leaning in on defenders, posting them up. So we take another look as this second ball pops out to Benny Feilhaber with a great crack, and it's just right at
Sarkodie was actually who
who's
cleared it. I thought it hit the
doing
post.
his job on the line.
I thought it had hit the post originally, but it was Sarkodie who cleared it away. We do have confirmation that yellow was shown to Espinoza, not Beasler. Now Peterson taken down. And the foul goes against David Horst. "20 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Sporting Kansas City have got to find a goal to keep this match alive. There will be a winner here tonight, one way or another. Whether it goes to extra time, whether it goes to penalties, as it did between Philadelphia and New York earlier today. Philadelphia winning in New York on penalties to advance to the semifinals for the second straight year. Right now, Sporting Kansas City have to find a goal even to entertain that possibility. Beasler to Feilhaber. Feilhaber! Feilhaber! Equalizes the match! In the 71st minute, it's Benny Feilhaber. And Sporting Kansas City are back in business.
Well, Nate, ever since things really heated up between these two teams, it lit a spark under Sporting Kansas City. They've been playing with much better pace of play, much better instincts. And it's Benny Feilhaber who's been the catalyst in all this. This time he gets space. It's a great ball to him into that dangerous pocket. He turns, he realizes he has space, and he makes no mistake. What a finish. Nothing Joe Willis can do into that bottom right corner. Great finish, Benny Feilhaber.
Well, Benny Feilhaber is making it a habit of scoring Medeski's against the Houston Dynamo. He scored one to equalize the match in the 95th minute.
It's an absolute Medeski there.
Was it not? He scored one in the 95th minute to equalize the match 4-4. In a breathtaking game, and that one was from about 30 yards out, just an absolute laser-guided missile off the half volley. This time, the degree of difficulty, maybe not quite as great, from about 22 yards out, but still precision point, tucking it inside the post.
And it's not only that, it's the 6'5" frame of Joe Willis, who, I mean, you have to be perfect on this shot to beat him. Obviously, with a big goalkeeper, going low with pace is your best bet and not somewhere in his frame. So it's even more quality there from Benny Feilhaber, who really, since coming into this position, as you're seeing, and making the game for Sporting from that position, has really changed the fortunes of this team.
Now Sporting Kansas City want to do whatever they can to make sure this thing does not go to extra time. Can they find another one? Feilhaber again. This time he was looking for Dwyer, and it was a perfectly timed tackle by Zach Steinberger, and he had to get that right, because if that ball gets past Steinberger, Dwyer is through. Now Espinoza to Dwyer. Couldn't quite control it.
And it looked like Dwyer didn't even want that. He wanted to leave it possibly for the run of Christian Namath in behind.
He was fouled from behind by Kubo Torres, his first action of the game.
Well, Nate, at least this game is picked up, because for a while it was not ideal to watch if you're a fan, if you're a commentator, if you're a player, but the excitement has really picked up, the energy.
Feilhaber again, this time Willis is there. For Benny Feilhaber, it's his 7th goal on the season in all competitions. As we take another look, in his last 11 games, Benny Feilhaber in all competitions, 5 goals, 9 assists. Still work to be done for Sporting Kansas City. Up a man.
And Nate, now that penalty kick looms even larger. because this could very easily be 2-1 Sporting Kansas City.
Amadou Dia taken down. And we'll see a yellow card shown to Leo Miranda. The yellows starting to flash quite often here in this match. This one in the 75th minute. We've seen one straight red.
And it's just Dia, we've seen him the last couple games with a lot of confidence taking players on down that left flank, and no question is that a foul and a yellow card.
Houston had to play down a man after a straight red was shown to Kofi Sarkodie last weekend in the Real Salt Lake game. This time around, it was Luis Garrido in the 30th minute. Now here comes Feilhaber again. Now Dwyer will maintain possession for now. Espinoza has to get it out to Dia. He keeps it in, impressively so. Dia tries to cut back on Sarkodie this time.
Well, it's a great job by Roger Espinoza to drive at the defender. Amadou Dia needs to hang out and give him a passing lane out wide. Instead, he comes in, makes it narrow, and takes away the passing lane. But he did well to keep the ball in.
And that's where Sony Mustavar has been so good for Sporting Kansas City. Anytime the opponents might have an opportunity for a counter, he seems to be there to snuff it out before it can happen.
And it's especially important for him to be there positionally, especially when his distribution hasn't been at its best tonight. That's what he can bring to the game.
76th minute. Sporting Kansas City 1, Houston Dynamo 1. With goals coming in the second half. Will Bruin in the 59th minute on the rebound after a back save by Espinoza from a corner. And then it was Benny Feilhaber in the 72nd minute. Third and final substitution for the Dynamo coming up now. Owen Coyle. Mauro Manotas checking into the game. And he'll be replacing Brad Davis. You can hear what the Sporting Kansas City fans think of the Houston Dynamo captain as he makes his way off. Clearly for Sporting Kansas City, getting the victory and moving on to the semifinals is job number one. But at the same time, considering the workload we have talked about that they are under in the stretch of games right now, with a game this past Saturday, a game coming up on Friday, the last thing they want to do is have to play another half an hour here tonight.
Yeah, it's so important to take care of business in regulation.
And it's Christian Nemeth on the half volley, sending it over the crossbar.
It really does have an effect. As a player, you're on the field right now, and that's exactly what you're thinking. Let's take care of this right now. Let's do everything we can to make sure we don't see extra time, because those are added minutes on the legs. That's added mileage that you absolutely do not want.
Both these teams, Houston and Sporting Kansas City, making additions to their roster this week. We talked about Cubo Torres. He is on the field for Houston right now. Sporting Kansas City acquiring midfielder slash defender Amobi Akugo in a trade just yesterday with Orlando City. He is here in the stadium tonight, but of course not dressed in the 18 for Sporting Kansas City. Could be available for Friday's game.
You know, Sporting Kansas City have acquired a very talented player that can play multiple positions for this team, which is so crucial. We've seen the amount of changeover. But the biggest thing for me is, I'm telling you, as a player, you see players traded away. You can never seem to get too close to these guys. Right when you do, they're gone. Servando Carrasco, a great player, a great guy. He'll be missed by this team. I'm sure he'll have a bright future in Orlando.
Now the Sporting Kansas City crowd trying to push on their home side. Feilhaber, the goal scorer, turning, Through to Dia. Dia was offside.
This is a great ball by Benny Feilhaber. I'm not sure how offside Amadou Dia is, but it's such a bang-bang play. And it's once again Benny Feilhaber driving at the defense, forcing Houston players to change the angle of their defending and allowing gaps to show up.
Is there a player in better form, an American-born, well, he's not American-born, American citizen player, in better form than Benny Feilhaber right now? You'd be hard-pressed to find one.
You really would be.
And he scored a goal with his left foot. You and I had some fun at his expense when he went running over to the bench, pointing at his left leg. And I spoke with him after the game and said, "Boy, you made a big deal out of that. It was like the first time you'd ever scored with your left foot." And he said it was his first ever professional goal with his left foot.
I just find that hard to believe, and I said so on the broadcast. I didn't expect him to be that excited, but he knows better than I do. I've never used my left foot, so I don't even know what that's like.
Minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Sporting Kansas City. Getting forward again. It's Christian Nemeth blasting it over the crossbar.
Well, it's great movement there by Christian Nemeth, but once again, going high for that near. This ball needs to be played low, right where Benny Feilhaber put his goal, because there are two players in Dom Dwyer and Jake Peterson that are crashing the net, and it's so important to put this on frame and give other players a chance to get any rebounds that may occur.
Houston Dynamo down to 10 men. They felt emboldened when they took the lead 1-0 on the goal from Will Bruin, and then when Joe Willis stood up to the penalty attempt from Dom Dwyer, but Benny Feilhaber equalized the match in the 72nd minute. Now Sporting Kansas City are looking for what could be the match winner. Looked like Ricardo Clark might have just grabbed his right hamstring. And Houston are without any more subs now. That could be a big development. Here's Nemeth trying to touch through to Peterson, who turned the wrong way. But Ricardo Clark is stretching out that right hamstring, and the Houston Dynamo are already down a man and have already made all 3 substitutions, Andy Greenebaum.
Yeah, it would be a huge loss if Ricardo Clark cannot continue. He's been such a presence for this team. And really just his ability this year to get forward into the attack more so than in years past has really been key for this Houston Dynamo side as well.
Clark is coming over to get a drink of water right now. So perhaps maybe just a bit of a cramp for Clark instead of an actual hamstring pull. Now Clark has gone back down. He is lying on the ground now near the halfway line. Sporting Kansas City are playing on. It's Espinoza looking for the run of Nemeth. Now to Dwyer. It's Dwyer! And it's deflected away. A great tackle from David Horst, which might have prevented Sporting Kansas City from taking the 2-1 lead, as Ricardo Clark still stretching out that right leg at the halfway line. Now a foul on Matt Beasler on the other side of the halfway line. Action everywhere on the field here at Sporting Park.
Yeah, and it's a crucial block, because if this ball gets on frame with Dom Dwyer's ability to strike it, who knows where it's going. Such a great effort there from Horst.
Beasler wins the header over Kubo Torres. Feilhaber's touch lets him down.
See Ricardo Clark off the ball again, just nudging players as they run by, this time Jake Peterson. just doing anything he can to disrupt the flow of Sporting Kansas City.
Now Sporting Kansas City down to 6 minutes plus stoppage time to try to come up with that game winner. Nice job tracking back that time by Mauro Manotes. Sporting Kansas City up to 11 shots attempted in this match, 4 on target, only 1. A shot from Benny Feilhaber has found the back of the net. Here's Christian Nemeth, and he puts the shot just wide of the left-hand post.
And I'm not sure Joe Willis has anything to say about this, if this is on frame. Good couple shuffles and a push, but this ball is hit low hard with a lot of pace. I don't think there's anything he can do if this finds the inside corner. Luckily for Houston, it sees itself wide.
Goal kick struck a little low by Willis, but Houston come away with it. Clark trying to chip it forward now for Manotas. Chance Myers tracking back to pull it away for Sporting Kansas City. Willis has to get it away. Amelia has to get it away for Sporting Kansas City. Espinoza now to Mustafar. Forward to Amadou Dia. Match opening up now. Nemeth touches it through beautifully to Dwyer, and it's Dom Dwyer in the 86th minute, putting Sporting Kansas City on top 2-1, and surely now onto the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup.
Well, Nate, this is just ultimate class from Christian Nemeth. We've seen him get more involved in the attack, turning and running at defenders, having shots from in and around the box. But this, he looks up, and his vision is incredible here to flick this first time to Dom Dwyer, lead him into space as well, and then Dom Dwyer from a tough angle just slips it under Joe Willis. What a ball here, what a flick by Christian Nemeth. That's unbelievable class right there, and Dom Dwyer continuing his form in the Open Cup.
With that goal, Dom Dwyer has now tied Davy Arno, CJ Sapong, and Igor Simutenkov with 5 career goals in the U.S. Open Cup, atop the franchise record books now, and he makes amends for the missed opportunity on the penalty. And after all of the stress now, Sporting Kansas City have 3 minutes plus stoppage time to kill off and hold on to this 2-1 lead as Beasler wins the header.
And look, that's not the first penalty that Dom Dwyer has missed, but the one consistent thing, that's another great through ball by Benny Feilhaber.
It's Espinoza. Now to Dwyer looking for more. It's Nemeth. Christian Nemeth, and it deflects into the back of the net! Dom Dwyer and Christian Nemeth have put it away for Sporting Kansas City. It was not without stress. It was not without pressure. But now Sporting Kansas City are cruising to the semifinals.
Well, just as I was about to tell you, Dom Dwyer's effort has never let down despite some missed penalties. He once again is on the end of a great through ball there by Benny Feilhaber. Overlapping run, Dom Dwyer plays it across to Nemeth, and we talked about it. Good things happen when you shoot. This is why you have to put the ball on. This is why we were so critical of Sporting Kansas City in the first half. Now they're creating chances. We knew the game would open up after they took the 2-1 lead, and that's why you put the ball on net.
That was deflected into the goal off the chest of A.J. Cochran, I believe it was, but I also believe that will still go down as a goal for Christian Nemeth. I'm not sure if that shot was headed on target or not. I'm not sure if there's any way of knowing. But I don't believe that should be an own goal on Cochran, unless you feel differently.
Now we'll have to take a look at how they scored.
It's been announced in the stadium as a goal for Christian Nemeth. That would be his 3rd in U.S. Open Cup competitions. He had 2 in the last round against FC Dallas. Now a substitution for Sporting Kansas City, as Paulo Nagamura will replace Roger Espinoza, who is on a yellow in this match. Now, Sporting Kansas City were pushed here tonight by the Houston Dynamo, but in the end they avoid the extra time.
And just when you think things were looking a little bit dicey after the missed penalty, a little bit of feistiness really sparked this Sporting Kansas City side, who came alive after some run-ins between the Houston players and Sporting Kansas City. It really ignited the offense, the energy from this team.
Speculative effort from Manotas this time to flex out for a Houston corner. Now for Dom Dwyer, I mentioned 5 goals for Sporting Kansas City in U.S. Open Cup. That puts him tied with the franchise lead. He actually has 8 U.S. Open Cup goals overall, going back to his time with Orlando City. He scored 3 with Orlando City. Christian Nemeth, his goal, his 10th of the season in all competitions, his 3rd in the U.S. Open Cup this season. And there will be 4 minutes of added time for Sporting Kansas City to close this one out. And the final substitution for Sporting Kansas City, Saad Abdul Salam checking in for Christian Nemeth. And the header, boy, comes right off of Manotas, but right into the arms of Tim Mealy. I believe the first save he has had to make of this match.
Yeah, and even though Sporting up 3-1, it's the last thing you want to see closing out the match, is it letting up an easy set piece attempt on frame. Very dangerous.
Dom Dwyer slammed into from behind by David Horst.
And Nate, just 1 shot on goal in the first half for Sporting Kansas City and 14 in the second half. You can really see the difference. Now, part of that is going up a man, obviously, but I just think it really has to do with the mentality, the spark that was lifted. And I think it started with Benny Feilhaber dropping deeper as a playmaker.
Chance Myers trying to hold it in the corner. And to clarify, 14 shots in general in the second half. 6 of them have been on goal.
Sure.
Fans here at Sporting Park chanting, "We mess with Texas," as a foul called against Dom Dwyer, but you see the reference there, the victory over FC Dallas in the last round, and now the victory over the Houston Dynamo. That is only a couple of minutes away now. Horst trying to set it forward to Kubo Torres. Tangled up with Chance Myers, and a foul on Torres. Sporting Kansas City, assuming that they hold on here for the last couple of minutes, will move on to face Real Salt Lake in the semifinals here at Sporting Park. The match will either be on August the 11th or August the 12th. We do not know the specific date or time of that match just yet, but we do know the opponent, and it's another rival.
It's just great. I mean, 3-4 times a season, every year I think these teams should play. It's great to see that Sporting will get another shot at Real Salt Lake, and another rival here tonight with Houston. Make for some great matches, especially in the Open Cup where things can be wide open.
And when you talk about regular season now, all 3 of these teams in the same conference, in U.S. Open Cup, possible playoffs, could be much more than 3 or 4 times. Sporting Kansas City will go to Real Salt Lake on Friday. When they come back home for their next home match, they'll be taking on this Houston team on August 1st. It's Dom Dwyer getting it to the corner again. And it's out for a throw-in. Deflected by Peterson, so Houston will take it. Ted Uncle has put the whistle to his lips. And there goes the final whistle. Sporting Kansas City with 3 goals in the second half. Come from behind, down 1. And they are victorious over the Houston Dynamo 3-1 in the quarterfinals of the 2015 U.S. Open Cup. So on to the semis for Sporting Kansas City and a matchup with another rival, Real Salt Lake.
And what a difference we've seen now, just from not even the start of the second half, but really when things started to get feisty, this game changed, and Sporting Kansas City in the end really deserving of the 3 points.
It started with a red card, a straight red shown to Luis Garrido in the first half for the Dynamo, but even down a man, the Dynamo drew first blood. It was in the second half, the 59th minute. Will Bruin with the goal after a shot had rebounded off of Roger Espinoza. He made a back save on the line. It bounced out to Bruin, and he put it home to put Houston up 1-0. Then Sporting Kansas City, just a minute and a half later, thought they had the opportunity to equalize as Chance Myers was awarded a penalty. Dom Dwyer took it, but it was saved by Joe Willis. Then Sporting Kansas City really starting to feel the pressure until Benny Feilhaber cracked the seal in the 72nd minute with a strike from just outside the 18. It was followed up by what turned out to be the game winner, Dom Dwyer, in the 86th minute to make it 2-1. And then Christian Nemeth with the cherry on top in the 88th minute to make it 3-1, the final score. As Jake Yodrich is standing by on the sideline with manager Peter Vermees. We will try to check in on that when we can. Let's check down now with Jake Yodrich and Peter Vermees.
And Peter, every time it seems that Sporting Kansas City goes up against the Houston Dynamo, it pretty much it's a full battle all 90 minutes. And fortunately for Sporting Kansas City this time around, you guys are able to get the victory and you're on to the semis.
Yeah, listen, I thought they were very good in the first half. We weren't good at all. We did a good job on defending set pieces, but they were on top of us most of the first half. I thought we were a different team in the second half. Moved the ball well, and we found some good opportunities. I thought we were dangerous in around the box, and that's why we got 3 goals.
And what was the message at halftime? It was 0-0, but you guys did have the man advantage. And it seemed there was a little bit of frustration towards the end of the first half. What was the message to the guys?
Yeah, we needed to play with a little bit more risk. We needed to go take some people on, and we needed to make them have to make some decisions. And I thought that we did a better job of that in the second half. Again, it's how we created the penalty kick, and it's how we created a couple other ones as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake Yodrich. Peter Vermees and his side advancing to the semifinals for the first time since 2012, when they won the U.S. Open Cup for the second time in franchise history. August 11th or 12th, they will take on Real Salt Lake in the semifinals here at Sporting Park. And you have to think that this home crowd helped push Sporting Kansas City on down the stretch as they came up with those 2 goals after the 85th minute.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. This crowd always brings it. But for me, this is a clear testament to the resiliency that this Sporting Kansas City team has. This season, they've proven time after time when they get behind or things aren't looking that great, they're just resilient in coming back, and it's great effort by the boys tonight.
It's going to do it from Sporting Park. For Andy Greenebaum, Jake Yodrich, this is Napier Cady saying thanks for watching. Sporting Kansas City win it over the Houston Dynamo by a final scoreline of 3-1. It's on to the semifinals for Sporting Kansas City.
We came out with the win again, so it shows a lot of mental fortitude.
All right, thanks, guys.
Second half and be able to turn it on and get those 3 goals. But like I said, we gotta keep improving. This tournament's about winning and moving on, so we're satisfied with that.
Now, after the last game, I thought we were going to see more left-footed goals from Benny Feilhaber, but you went back to